Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. Doing well because I'm having a wonderful day on this 19 May 2025. We're about to be making some new videos. I know it's pretty dark outside, but there's 2 videos left. So let's just do them and have a good time and just enjoy life a little bit, right? Today we're talking about the job search. So you guys know that I've been looking for work. You know that I've been with an agency for a couple of months, but the agency is not working. It is really bad. I haven't talked about it because I didn't want to complain about it, but since we're on the subject of being truthful and open about what's going on in my professional life, let's abort the subject. Let's talk about it, right? The agency when I was younger was the shit. Because what I could do is I could just leave. There was no consequences. I could come in. If I needed to work, they were there. If I didn't need work, if I wanted to relax, no problem, right? The agency was also... No, I was a different person. I was a very different person. I was a person that didn't have a lot of self-love, and didn't have a lot of self-respect, didn't have a lot of self-confidence, right? So when the agency came in, and they were like, well, you're not working. There's actively a period where I was going hungry because the agency wasn't calling, right? And now I'm starting to see the agency in a different sense. And I've started to see the agency in a different way for about a month now. The agency feels like they know they have leverage. The agency feel like they have... And for the agency, my past experience was different because my past experience was extremely unique. I was at an agency, yes, but I was with one agent. And that agent was a friend of mine. He was a really good dude. So I didn't really deal with the agency. I dealt with this person, and they dealt with the agency. And he would hook me up all the time. But on this period of time, it does feel bad. It does feel horrible. It does feel awful because I feel like it feels like they have leverage, and it feels like they're using the leverage. They're talking to me about, hey, I don't have anything this week. Oh, good luck for next week. And I'm like, dude, you're the person that I'm trusting to find me a job, and your answer to I really need to work is good luck for next week. It is not the most reassuring, and it's about speech. It's all about the way you're talking, the way you're seeing things, but it's not reassuring. Now, technically speaking, is it their job to reassure me? No, the job is to find me a job, right? But there's at the point at time I feel pushy. I feel pushy, but I feel like I have to push. Versus something that is organic, something that is organic in the sense of hook me up and I'll hook you up. They don't do it for free. When I'm working, they make a salary, right? So I'm like, dude, don't you want to make money? Get me a job. You can take a class, I don't care, but get me a job. And it's just like, no. And I don't like this relationship of power. I don't like this relationship of power. I think that if I was in a position of power, I would feel uncomfortable, and I don't feel like they're feeling uncomfortable. I feel like in their eyes it's just common thing. And the agency are often, very often, talking to and working with people that are desperate. Now I am desperate, but at the same time I'm like, dude, I had work experience, right? They work a lot with people that are just arrived to Canada. They work a lot with people that are newly arrived immigrants, and I'm like, they don't really have a choice. But with me, I know the governmental project. I know there's actual things that are put in place for income. I'm not desperate, but I would rather work, right? You're not allowing me to work because you're not finding me a job. And with agency work, even if I wasn't a good worker, there's a ton of company. For them, it's not so much about, okay, well, there is this mentality of agency worker that they're kind of shitty, right? They're kind of shitty. So there is good. Okay, I don't like my hair today, so my apologies for that. There is a understanding that agency worker aren't the best worker, right? They're temporary, they're seasonal. They'll work for a couple of months and then we'll get rid of them. They're not employees, right? So even if I'm not the best worker, it is kind of not necessarily understood, it's kind of expected. Like with PCT, when I got hired, they're like, you've been with us for a year, you're loyal as fuck, so we like you. I hate my hair today, but I have 2 videos to do, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna yeah, you know, I'm not gonna complain about it too much. But yeah, it feels bad, dude. It feels really bad. It feels really bad that I'm in a position where I'm depending on people that I don't feel are dependable. Right? There's also the whole showcase of there's a three man. There's me, the worker. There's the employer, and then there's a middleman, and that middleman needs to be cut, right? But that middleman is a resource for the employer, and it's a resource for the employee. So although it is a middleman, it is one of the most, if not the most important person of the triple relationship. I feel bad, so I kind of step back from agency. So the plan of agency, there's two things. It's either temporary work, or they're sending you a place and they'll find you a good job, and then if you do a good enough job, that job will hire you, and then you got the agency. The agency will say, hey, you have a contract with us, so you're allowed to be hired after 800 hours. So you have to give 800 hours before they even think about hiring you, which is kind of the norm. So yeah, so this is technically what I'm seeing with the agency. So for work, now work has been very complex. I've been applying, and it's weird because, and I mentioned this before in a video, it's kind of selling yourself. You're selling yourself and you're saying, hey, this is what I can offer you. It's like a relationship also. You're saying, well, I can offer this, I can offer this, I can offer this, I can offer this. I know you got this other guy in mind, but I can offer this. He cannot offer you. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable spot. And even the fact that and I'm going to repeat myself, but the fact that you're looking for a job, you're still somewhat in a bad position because they have leverage. You need a job. There's 10 people that are offering me their CV for this job. What makes you special? And then you're like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And in reality, it should be both. Like, you need the worker, I need the job, right? However, it is logic that there's more there's employment or jobs or position position is actually good, right? There's people that are gonna be. I feel like I'm in corner. I feel like I'm in a prey. I feel like I'm in a survival mode. And it shouldn't be in survival mode. I get that it's hard to find a job. But I forgot how hard it was. You know? I don't think you guys understand. I haven't been looking for work since, and that's a true story. I haven't been looking for work since we're seeing Crystal of Atlanta. I just did a video on mobile gaming. What we're doing right now is we're listening to Onish Prank, but we're also posting videos on the internet. So yeah, we're working hard. So what happened is I went to the apartment. I was looking for a job. I became desperate. I found the agency. Now the agency was actually pretty good. I was like, okay, well they serve a pretty good purpose. I trust them. Then I worked with them. I think it was from, I want to say 2014 to 2018, and then they sent me to PCT, and PCT hired me for 7 years, which brings us to 2025, which is this year. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. If you're putting yourself in a position, I hate being dependable. See, there's pride in there also. You're seeing yourself as this capable employees, and you're putting yourself into, hey, this is my CV. I'm available to start tomorrow. And then you wait and you wait and you wait. And then the company, they probably found somebody else. And then you got a second one, and then you got a third one, you got a fourth one, you got a fifth one. And then you stop counting because there's so many, but all of these people are no. It's like being single, and to me, it's really a relationship. It is really, 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 really a relationship. It's like putting yourself on Tinder, on a dating website, right? And you're single, and you're like, you know what? I'm okay being single, and I don't need anybody. And like, you know what? I feel a bit lonely. So you put yourself on social media to find a girlfriend, to find someone, and then you're not having success, right? You didn't have more success when you didn't have more success when you were single. You just weren't aware of how unsuccessful you are. You think yourself a good worker. You see, I see myself as a guy that works hard, and I'm able to say I work as hard as anybody on the platform. And you kind of feel entitled. Maybe I deserve a job because I'm a hard worker. You need to prove yourself. They need to give you a chance for that, right? And I feel like with the social economy right now, they have so many offers for job. It's really hard. It's not going as well as planned. Um, Last year, I could have done more effort to find a job, which is the truth. Um, but never in my entire life, I would have thought myself not able to get a job. I thought it was gonna be like that. Because again, I got a 8 years job. Most people they have diploma. You see, in my mind, I think experience in the field is more than a diploma, right? I was seeing this job on Indeed right now today. I was at my father's house and I found a job in Lachine. Like, you know what, that could be cool. So I found this job on Lachine, right? And I apply and apply and apply and apply and apply, and at the end they wouldn't even let me They wouldn't even give out my resume because I didn't have the requirement needed. They needed 4 years using a specific program, and I didn't have that. I didn't have 1 year. I didn't have a day, but they wouldn't even allow me. And I'm like, holy shit! And then I was looking at it with my father, and my father was like, hey, what the fuck are you talking about? There's jobs, and there's job everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, but look where it's located. Valleyfield, Shadowgate, really far places. And you're like, fuck, dude, this is Anjou. This is really far, right? So there's an illusion that's going on of there's a lot of work that's available when there's a lot of work where, yeah, there's an illusion of a lot of job available when the illusion is how many of those jobs are realistic for you. How many of those jobs are close enough for you to go to work to? How many of those jobs do you have the requirement for? How many of those jobs give you enough to survive? How many of those jobs can you do long term? How many of those jobs are currently hiring? How many of those jobs do you see yourself at long term because you need to work? Absolutely. But if you give me the choice between a job that I will do for 1 year and a job that I will do for 5 years, I will do for 5 years. People don't understand and people don't value security of job. The PCT job, although I wasn't always happy, I wasn't miserable. I would have never thought it was gonna be closing. I thought it was gonna be get by, but when it closed, I was like, holy shit, let's go with the content. And then my father kept repeating, if it didn't close, you would still be there, right? And he was right. He was right. There was a security of work, and knowing that I can come back on Monday, and there's a job. Knowing that I come back in 1 month and there's a job. There's a security, and you fall into this safety net, and you fall into this safety net, and you're like, well, I'm good. And now this safety net is out. You're putting yourself. I feel like a prey versus predator, and I'm like, oh, please take my CV. Please give me a job, kind sir. And I talked about pride before, but this is not where pride hurts. I don't mind asking for a job. I don't mind begging for a job. If I need to beg to pay my bills, I will. What I had a problem with, what I have a really big problem with is I have a problem with begging in the sense that I'll come to a boss and I'm like, please sir, I need a job, I need to survive, I really need a job. And I think once again, I think that's natural, but I in another way, I feel like I'm not asking you for a handout. I'll work for it. Give me a job. I'll work for it. I'll work harder than you are. I'm not asking for favors. I'm not asking for a handout. I'm asking for a chance. And that's really tough. It affects the moral. It affects your self-confidence. You think you're this okay worker, but you're not this okay worker. You're not even close to being an okay worker. And that's tough. That's tough. That is tough to admit, that is tough to envision, that is tough to accept. We'll see how it goes, but for now, it's not looking good. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.